He has a YouTube channel. He's also does cybersecurity, works for a cybersecurity startup. And how many masters do you have? How many?
I think it's 2.
You have 2? Are you going to work on a 3rd?
Maybe not 3rd.
We're both New Yorkers. We give each other shit. Okay. Are we ready to go?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Hi. So let me start off with my first mistake today, which is I thought there were no slides, so we're just going to have to wing it based on the chart. So I carry 2 things. I'm an engineer, and I work in a cybersecurity firm, so we do all the AI cybersecurity. It's very technical, right? It's very logical. And then my other side is kind of this more spiritual, emotional, self-reflective side. And I do some astrology readings for clients. And when you're doing astrology readings for clients, I mean, you hear all kinds of crazy stories, all private details, and really get into like the kind of the inner world of people. So I've been doing this for some time, and there's a thing called mundane astrology. So what that means is that you can kind of read the charts of, say, organizations. You could read the charts of countries if you put like the inception dates of that country or organization. So as a practicing astrologer, one of the things that is kind of hard to do, right, is this idea of how do you go and read all of this information? So usually when people think about astrology, they kind of think, oh, like, it's very intuitive, or, you're using your kind of inner state, so to speak, but actually there's just like so much like conflicting data. Like, so for example, so this is a chart of the United States, my unfortunate home country. And as you can see, there's a lot of lines here, right? There's like, this is like opposite this, and then this is like in an angle that, and this is in this sign, and each one of these boxes is what we call a house, right? So essentially, like if you have to kind of get like all this different information. There's a thing called interpretations, right? So you'd have to kind of like go and say like the sun does this, and Jupiter does that. So if you're trying to get all the different information, it can take some time. And when I'm sitting with clients, so it's going to be like all of this, blah, 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 Saturn, Venus, Mars, it just goes on and on. And there's only so much that like a human being can internalize. So like when I'm reading a chart, I'm just kind of looking for like the main aspects, but I'm missing all these minor aspects. So I was coding in Cursor and Claude, and I kind of noticed something about AI, which is I don't really feel like I just don't feel like it's made for coding. It's just like general intelligence. I was actually dealing with an issue where I had like a medical issue, and I didn't know what was going on, so I just dumped like a bunch of these medical research documents into Cursor, and I just started asking Cursor like, hey, like what's going on? And I realized by doing this, I actually was able to get more information by having a conversation with Cursor than I was with my actual doctor, which was weird. I did eventually figure out the issue, so I thought, I wonder what would happen if I did that with astrology. So kind of like in the past couple of days, let's see if I got this right. So what I did is I essentially went in Cursor and I explained to it, I was like, this is how you read an astrology chart. There's like mundane astrology, and there's, there's Venus, and there's houses, and there's planets, and blah, 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 all the things, right? So essentially what I could do is I could just kind of drop this in, the full view, and I'll just say, read this so you know how to read astrology. So it's got all the information in there. And that's going to give it all the different information that it needs to know how to read a chart. So that is, it's all right there, so I mentioned like minor aspects and major aspects. So like a regular astrologer, they just kind of focus on the major aspects. The minor aspects might slip past them. Inner, outer planets, all the essentials, right? Okay, so now what I did is I took that country, the United States, and I kind of set it up there. Like I already kind of put the chart in there. So now I'm just going to say, well, let me just put this down. Read this country and tell me what kind of country it is. Okay, so I put the chart in of the United States, and then I say, like what kind of country it is. So there we go, drive-in friction, send outward face of idealism, mobility, big story, blunt optimism, resources and power. It's kind of, if you go through it, it really kind of is all in there. And the idea is like it's kind of describing the personality of the country, and just kind of going back to that. So yeah, so if you're the United States, your ascendant Sagittarius, you're very kind of philosophical in your outlook, you're very optimistic, and you're very involved with other countries because you have this what we call loaded seventh house. Anyway, okay, so what I did was I went and I took some dates. So do we have, okay, let me just put this here. So what I did is I kind of just took like dates in history. And August, where's that the list of dates is that in there? Okay. So I took some dates in history, and I basically I asked it to kind of reverse engineer like what happened on that date based on the chart. So we'll see. Don't put that in there. Don't put that in there. Take it out. We don't want to cheat. So just open. Yes. So just to see, I might get it totally wrong. Actually, we'll see. Okay. So I have date 1. So that was when the U.S. entered World War II. That was December 8th, 1941. An epic day. Okay. So I'm just gonna say. Not that. Okay. So I'm just gonna go here and bang. Okay. So I've entered date 1, which is there it is, World War II. The entry of date. So we'll see if we got that right. Maybe we'll get it wrong. Actually, that's something I noticed. If you use the worst model, it actually gets it wrong more often. Oh, so see, this one said it was a revolution or a protest. So not quite right. Let's see. What is your second choice? No, I got it totally wrong. Let's try 2. So, let's try that one.
I told you should have used 2.
I know, right? Okay. Let's try it. Let's see if it's any smarter now. It was working before, though. Yeah. So. Yeah. So basically, what it is you take a snapshot of the chart on a given day. It's going to look like a certain formation, right? And then if you were to look at this pattern, like what is that kind of energy does that look like on that day? Okay, finally we got one right. So this one says achieve major milestone or expansion. And if you look at number 5, that was the date that the U.S. Landed on the moon. So, yeah. So essentially, if we put in the chart data, if we put that date, that snapshot on that time, feed it into this algorithm essentially, and ask it to kind of predict what happened, we can kind of like figure out like different types of events. So let's try one more, see if we get it.
So you're trying to have it tell the future.
Yes. And I did this. I was playing with this, and I was getting them like kind of right consistently. And then I would go and put other dates, and it would get it right like some like most of the time, but not all the time. Or we get like, but what's interesting is that it would get close. Like for example, like it kept saying like for like 9/11, it said, oh, the country entered a war, and then the second choice was like got bombed by terrorists, and it's so close. It's like the same energy. Let's see if we get this one. But the gist of it, I would say, is like a lot of times when I'm sitting with the clients, it helps me like kind of interact with it, where I can ask it the questions, like to kind of fill out the things that I can't figure out myself, and to give me like kind of like a side advisor, like a backdrop, to match like what I'm already thinking.
Yeah, I'm curious about the AI tinkerers.
Oh, the AI tinkerers, yeah. So, okay, so the AI tinkerers. So this is the chart of the AI tinkerers. I don't know if we have time to like.
It's the first meeting.
Yes.
4 p.m. December something.
Oh wait, sorry. Let me go back to my. I just want to prove that I didn't make this up. So remember I said sometimes it gets like 1 or 2. So date number 4, right? It's the Rodney King protest, and in this case, the first choice is that stock market crash, but then second choice, there was a revolution or a protest. So it's like right there. But yeah, so it's interesting to play with this stuff, and it's pretty surprising for me actually to see it kind of work.
Yeah, I'm still unclear on the. You're basically giving a timeline of
Yes.
slots.
Yes.
Date 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yes,
right?
yes, yes.
And then you're sort of saying mapping those slots to events, and then
Mhm.
you're basically trying to say, okay, can I tell the future if I actually don't tell what happened in the past?
So actually one of the hardest problems is not to predict the future, but it's to predict the past. So it's like a known problem in science. So it's essentially the way you read the chart is you have the inner chart, and then the outer chart is like what's going on at that timeline, and then based on how those two are combining, that's how you would say what the energy is at that given point in time. Yeah.
Indulge me, the AI tinkers wants one key thing.
Yes.
Just one thing, yeah.
Oh yeah. So the Venus is in Aquarius. So Aquarius is artificial intelligence. It's right there. I didn't make it up.
What does Venus mean?
It's just like this is describing like what kind of people are in this organization, and it's like really like weird and like offbeat people who use technology. Something like that.
Okay, we've got time for a question or two.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I haven't heard of this. Anyways.
Yeah.
Yes, okay, thank you. So recently I have a client asking similar questions. So he is asking whether my model can do function. But I'm not sure if you know what is function. So basically, yeah.
Yes.
So seeing how similar with this is like very superstition. So I'm wondering like, are there any techniques to optimize their response, or which LLM do you think is best for this kind of pseudoscience stuff?
Are you asking me like, do I think like Eastern astrology or Western or feng shui, like all the different?
No, just in general, what model do you like?
For superstitions or
Oh,
pseudoscience stuff?
well, I mean, yeah, I'm a Western astrologer. Augustine does the I Ching, so I think they all say the same thing in different words. It's like different languages, right? It's like what's better, like English or Mandarin, right? They're both languages, yeah.
He was asking which AI you should use for it.
Oh, sorry, which AI?
Yeah, for pseudoscience.
Sorry, yeah. So that's what I was saying before is the okay. So like I was using like kind of the auto mode. It wasn't doing that great, but then I switched to Composer 1.5. I thought that was pretty good, and then Composer 2 maybe a little bit better. And I think I was able to prove that you actually do need like the higher level models to be able to sift through all this data, because it's like kind of subtle in its in terms of like making a prediction. Yeah.
Sorry, so the rules which you can apply to this to make it more accurate.
Yes.
So there is a set of rules which, like I'm gonna say, which you can actually just follow so that you don't actually need an
So I think I learned something from this, which is like, I think astrologers, they can only process like a few things, right? But I think like if, I think I looked up like how many possible charts there are. It's like, I don't know, like something quintillion or whatever, like just quote something quintillion amounts of charts that could exist. So I think what I was learning as I was trying to like build this model, because I kept saying like, oh, fix this, fix this, fix this, is I think there's actually like a lot of rules that we don't even know about that the AI was figuring out as I was giving it examples.
Have you used this in the workplace whereby, for example, you get along with or you know who you hire? Who you hire?
So let me answer that from the professional perspective, not the personal one. It would be my absolute dream, is that even legal, to get someone's birth chart? Like, that's my own company, I could do that, right? So if it was my company, I would absolutely after the birthday, and I could definitely tell you like what kind of person this is, and if they get along, I'm like pretty certain of it. And you could also tell like people's work styles and you know like how they're going to contribute to the organization. Yeah.
You mentioned that as the models progress, this is getting more accurate. So where do you think it's going to go? You're going to be able to predict with more certainty as new models come in?
Yeah, I had that like metaphysical like question for myself because like how can I put it? I felt like I was getting like somewhat close to being able to predict the future, and I was like, what the hell did I just do? And I was thinking like of like imagining a future in which like maybe the AI gets so good combined with something like this, some divination tool that you really can actually predict the future, and it's like a little bit scary, I would say. But yeah, jury's still out on that. But I do think astrology at its core is really about the data, because it really is like quite mathematical. Yes. Oh, that, I mean, I'm sure we've had someone in this room do something like that. I mean, I'm probably too broke to try that. Maybe someone that's like rich in here can figure that out. I mean, I think so, right? I mean, isn't that like, what is it, like the bull pattern and all that? Like, yeah, I'm sure something like that works. Yeah. I mean, I guess like, it's just in my personal, I can only like tell you like my personal experiences. Like, I've read like hundreds of clients, and I've always had people like, oh yeah, that's exactly correct. And I've gotten like weird predictions. So I think like taking in that and putting that in AI, like can only like bolster that. That's kind of like, I don't know how far it could go, but maybe decently. Oh, yeah.
Have you tried Milo fish before?
What kind of fish?
The relationship between other people talking with each other to predict the future.
I haven't. Neurofish. It's a
Milo
fish.
Yeah. Basically, it's a simulation of a lot of people talking with each other to predict the mass prediction of the stock market.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
that sounds like another demo.
So you mentioned you use this while talking to clients, and how does that interaction work in terms of the prompting ton of the time and the you being able to read all that information whilst you're talking to the client?
Yeah. So okay. So like if I'm sitting with a client, like I have to say maybe some extreme stuff. Like I've had some extreme situations where maybe someone comes into like a serious life crisis, and I need to back up, you know, because it's like a lot of pressure. So I think like when I have like I'll have the AI ready, and I'll be like, hey, AI said this, and I said this, and like you know we're like kind of on the same page here. Like it helps me to get like a second opinion, I think. So I'm not like wildly off in my prediction. Yeah.
Just a quick question. Have you asked anything about what's happening in Iran?
If you go on my Instagram, I have a prediction out like a month before this happened, and I said shit's gonna get real soon. I said something like that. I think I didn't say like Iran, but I did say something's gonna blow up.
Literally.
Yeah.
You should act on the advice, right? You can get rich.
Like I said, I'm broke.
So put your best money on this.
Huh?
So put your best money on this.
Okay, actually, true story. No, true story. So when I first got into astrology, I realized that if I'm going to intellectually believe in this nonsense, it's going to mess me up. So I should be willing to like put my money there, right? So I took $50,000 and I put it into Bitcoin, following the Jupiter cycle, and I turned that 50,000 to 100,000. Then I went back in the market, put another 50,000 in, and then I sold that and I got another 30,000 like gain. And during that time, everyone thought I was like psychic or something. And I said, no, like I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know anything about Bitcoin. So I just literally followed the Jupiter cycle like to the day, and it was really weird because and I had some screenshots from back in the day, but it was like it weirded me out. I didn't understand it. I don't think it's like repeatable. It was just that there was such like a rare, like obvious thing. Yeah.
How to finish that story? So in your Bitcoin story, did you come out on top or?
Oh no, yeah. So I put in 50K. Then I gained like 100% gain. Yeah, so 50 to 100. And then I have pictures and stuff. So I sold, and then I put 50 again, and then it turned from 50 to 80. So 30K gain. And that's how I paid for school.
All right, yeah, we're gonna wrap up. Thank you so much.